We're going to talk about what has happened in Ukraine on this day of the Russian invasion. We'll examine the actions and the strategies, both military and political. Now, if this is your first time watching, my name is Darren Gertis. I'm a professor who's built multiple leadership programs at Charleston Southern University. So we'll also view these events through the lens of leadership. And I also wrote a book about Zelensky called I Need Ammunition, Not a Ride, and you can find it on Amazon.
Okay, so it is the 4th of July. Here is the map. Let's go back a little bit and just look at just a few days. Lysychansk has fallen. And if we just move the map back just a couple of days, you can see that this was the 1st of July. Here is the 2nd of July. And Lysychansk is getting on the 3rd. It's already covered. And all the way, almost all the way to the border of Luhansk is captured. Now, the Institute for the Study of War has confirmed what has gone on here. President Vladimir Putin has celebrated Russian seizure of Lysychansk. Putin met with Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, presented Colonel Alexander Lapin and Major General Esquadilla Abachev with the Hero of Russia Award for their leadership. Okay, they captured the city. Former Russian military commander Igor Girkin, however, has protested with a scathing critique, and this is really interesting. Girkin noted that the Ukrainian defense of Lysychansk was deliberately designed to inflict maximum damage on Russian troops. Now, Putin didn't care. He wanted to have, I've captured Lysychansk, and he did. He did. Um, but it cost him a lot. It may be a Pyrrhic victory. Russian troops burned through Russian manpower and equipment. He strongly suggested that accepting battle on Ukrainians' terms was a significant misstep by the Russian leadership. Now, this is a guy who commanded militants during the 2014 war in Donbass, so he knows what he's talking about. And I think that's probably right. The Ukrainians fought as long as they could in order to inflict maximum damage. Okay, now let's turn the page here. I'm reading an article from The Hill. Putin declares victory in eastern Ukraine region of Luhansk. So it's terrible, but it could have been worse. And well, how could it have been worse? You lost the city. Well, you didn't lose the soldiers. Here's this really interesting passage in this article. There was a risk of Lysychansk encirclement, said Haidai. He's the governor of Luhansk. He told the Associated Press, adding that Ukrainian troops could have held on for a few more weeks, but would have potentially paid too high a price. We managed to do a centralized withdrawal and evacuate all the injured. We took back all the equipment. So from this point, withdrawal was well organized. Yeah, okay, so at least you weren't captured as well as lost the city. Last little bit, Russian forces the next step is to turn firepower on Donetsk, and I think that's exactly right. Zelensky vows Ukraine will win back its land. Let's actually look at Zelensky's speech because, okay, and here I'm looking at it in a Word document because I capture his speeches and as I update the book. President Zelensky's speech, he's talking today about Ukraine's recovery in the future, what's going to happen as we have kind of a Marshall Plan for Ukraine after they win. And he's talking to this audience that's gathered to talk about that, talked about 2,102 educational facilities destroyed by the Russians. Why are Russians shelling hospitals? How can they give an order for an airstrike on a hospital or a maternity hospital? There have been 799 medical infrastructures damaged or destroyed. The destruction of Russian army on residential neighborhoods. Think about how much destruction has been. More than 12 million Ukrainians were forced to become refugees because of this war, he says. Okay, now he goes on to say this. Russia's intention is to make such ruins and such losses an alleged vision of democracy in Europe. With this aggression, Russia wants to prove that it has supposedly not had just territory under its control, but life as such, and that it can supposedly decide for everyone whether they will have life at all. Therefore, this war is not just ours, not just a local one somewhere out in east of Europe. No, this war, this is Russia's attack on everything that is of value to you and me. Therefore, the reconstruction of Ukraine is not a local project, not a project of one nation, but a joint task of the entire democratic world. Of all countries, certainly all countries that can say about themselves, we are civilized. Rebuilding Ukraine means restoring the principles of life and restoring the space of life, restoring what makes people people, and that's clearly the idea here. He's tying what's going on in Ukraine, and he's done this in pretty much every speech, to what's going on in the world at large. Okay, the last thing that I want to talk about here, I'm going to bring this screen back. Putin will not congratulate Joe Biden on the 4th of July, the Kremlin says. It's a little petty, but okay. Russian President Vladimir Putin, I would imagine it wouldn't flow the other way. But, you know, Putin, you ought to be thinking about this. You could be poking the British in the eye while you're congratulating the United States on theirs and looking like you're rising above it. But Putin has not been one to calculate so well, so maybe it was a misstep. Okay, that's all that I have for today. Thank you for your time, and I'll talk about what happened tomorrow.
Hey, if this video was helpful, hit like to help others find it in YouTube's algorithm. Subscribe so that you can stay informed. And one more thing, if you are moved to contribute to the humanitarian aid for Ukraine, I have a link below for Samaritan's Purse. If you want to give, be sure to give only to reputable organizations. There's a lot of scammers out there. Thanks for your time.